Welcome back to Chaos Corner. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, here live to tape, same day coverage of the Mets report. Now, fans, we have a lot of news coming out of Port St. Lucie. We have a lot of news coming over Mets camp. That's what I'm here to report to you. We're even going to get into today a little bit of Mets triviology. We're down here 20 feet below the surface of the earth in the bunker. You can see that the Wi-Fi and the solar power down here in Chaos Corner is beaming pretty well since we're into the spring now and we're getting more solar energy. And remember, as I always say, solar energy is not your main source. That's supposed to be something as a backup, like a generator. So you can see down here in the bunker, it's hit or miss, but I'm very excited to talk about what came out of spring training yesterday. The Mets looked fantastic. We have some bad news. I'll give you the good, the bad, and the ugly coming out of Port St. Lucie. Since the Mets today, Friday, again, same day coverage, live to tape, we're off today. We have a couple of games coming up over the weekend. We really only have 8 games left in spring training. Now, the Mets have won their last 7 in a row. That's why I'm here with the Mets report to give you all the breaking news. And of course, the biggest thing to come out that came across the timeline, if you go to my social media, you'll see that I put it out yesterday. We just lost Carlos Carrasco for 6 to 8 weeks with a hamstring issue. So that really puts a dent in one of our strong parts where we were going to start the 2021 season, and that would be the depth of the starting rotation. I will say Talon pitched an unbelievable game yesterday. He went 4 scoreless innings. I believe only 1 hit he gave up, but we're going to cover that in the Mets report. So hit my profile link on Twitter, at BigDaddyGOC. That'll knock you over to here, the Guardian of Chaos on YouTube. And of course, follow me on all social media platforms. And that would be Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, Parler, Gab, DLive, the Mets report. Don't you dare miss it. Come on back. We have a lot of things going on here in Mets camp with the Guardian of Chaos. We'll keep a little bit of music going. A nice little distraction here on a Saturday morning. As I just ended off with Carlos Carrasco, 6 to 8 weeks. I don't know how good that is. That really puts a damper into what we were talking about on our debut show about the depth of our rotation. We went through with DeGrom and Stroman and Carrasco, and Stroman pitched pretty well himself the day before. So Talon had a good outing, but to lose Carrasco like this. So now let's look at the starting rotation briefly, because I have to start off with that. That's the biggest news. DeGrom is on track. Do you realize that this guy in his last 3 pitches out, DeGrom, I believe, trying to think if I read it right, 97, 98, 99 miles an hour, and he's hitting 102 on the radar gun down in Port St. Lucie on the regular. Jacob DeGrom is going to be must-see pitching this year. Let's face it, he's been must-see pitching for the last couple of years, and I'm hoping that this year is going to be a year we're going to push forward, stay in contention for the division, not just the wild card. Listen, we want to get in any way possible. You got to believe, right? But I would rather take the division. I don't need to have another wild card. I believe we've been wild card 3 times in our history as it is. That's what I took out of yesterday, of course, and I also threw this out there on Twitter. I'm not sure if my boys over at the show, and that's at Mario_Chaos, if you're not following them to put out your product and for branding and to get the rub, to hit that sweet spot, so to speak. I don't know what you're doing. They're there to help you. They're there to put you over. It says it right on their profile. I do have influence over there, but minimal. They want to do too much of other stuff, which I don't like to always bring up with the current state of affairs in this country and this government, and we'll leave that alone. But you did see Lindor paying dividends. I know everyone gets crazy, chaos, Big Daddy, 45-year Mets fan or not, loyalist. It's only spring training. It doesn't mean anything. You're right. But he hit a shot yesterday down here in Port St. Lucie. You could see that Lindor, whether it was when he was mic'd up for that game, or see him in the clubhouse, see him in the dugout, hearing the backstage reports from different guys, whether it be Gelbs, the beat reporters for the Mets, Eddie C. It really appears to be, and especially if they get that contract done. We talked about that on the debut show. If they can get this contract done, Lindor will be hopefully there with the Mets for quite some time. He was having a decent spring. Little sugar-free Halls. Let me get it out of the way now. It just makes the pipes feel so much better. And for everyone that's in the broadcasting, podcasting, commentator industry, or who is just someone who likes to talk, or even if you're litigious, a debater, it feels so good. It's like somebody comes in and gives you a nice warm cup of tea. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. That's what you get here at Chaos Corner. The Mets Report. No longer the debut episode. We're going right in here. Another thing that I noticed yesterday, besides Lindor's grand slam, and again, he's going to be a huge part of this team. People talk about Cespedes before that, but listen, Lindor could be the biggest impact player on the Mets since David Wright. And I'm not going to talk about Alonso yet. It's only his second, third year, counting the COVID. He'll be a stud. And speaking of Alonso, since we'll transition and make this organic and ad-lib, that's what you get here. It's a one-man show. It's organic ad-lib, talking everything New York Metropolitans. How about, I believe, going into yesterday's game, Alonso was batting .410 in spring training. And again, it's spring training. I get it. He had a double off the wall, knocked in a couple of runs. I believe maybe it was .407. I bet you Alonso's batting well over .400 right now. He's hit 3 home runs, I think, in the last 5 days, his last 5 games. So let's hope that some of the good news, because again, we report the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you're going to report Carrasco, you got to throw it all out there. Of Lindor and Alonso in there, and if Conforto can push forward and continue to grow and emerge, it's going to be one hell of a season. I told you about Walker, 4 scoreless inning, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. Blevins, who I did talk about in the debut episode because we talked about lefties, whether it be in the starting rotation or whether it be out of the bullpen, a middleman, middle relief, whatever it is. Blevins had a 1-2-3 inning yesterday. He's going to be a serviceable guy. I think he's going to make the team. I think we need him because he's a lefty and he looked good. And now here's a guy that I used to sing praises about as far as news, notes, rumors, speculation, innuendo. Back to when he was even in Houston. Roy Oswalt. He looked terrible yesterday. He gave up 2 bombs, number one. And even before that, he hasn't, listen, I don't know. We don't need a 6-man rotation. Rojas has said that's off the table. There's no way we're going to go to a 6-man rotation at least in the first half of the season. And I agree with that, especially now with, listen, Syndergaard is still out, whether it's June or July, whether he comes back from Tommy John. We covered that in the debut. We know that Lugo had, I don't know his timetable. I'll have to check in with Port St. Lucie and what's going on down there in the minors with the bone chips in his elbow. Because Lugo could have been a big part of the rotation. So look at those injuries. And now Carrasco, again, we just got him in a trade. This is huge. I can't stress it enough. I'm not going to be negative. I'm going to focus on the positive here because we're still going to have DeGrom, obviously. Stroman's pitching well. He's doing okay. Walker was great yesterday. Peterson's okay if we could just keep it together. Luke Casey has pitched well this spring. This is what I don't like about Luke Casey, looking at the numbers. And it's not just all about numbers. I go by the eye test. He's got 7 or 8 walks already, the most on the team. So Luke Casey does, if we can get them walks down, Luke Casey's going to be in the rotation. Eichhoff, again, a left-hander. Let's see how he does. He came in as a non-roster invitee. I mentioned him in the debut episode. It's even more important now that Eichhoff might get in here on the transition. Let's not discount Yamamoto. I'm hearing good things about Yamamoto. I've only seen him once so far this season in the spring training. So thankfully, we have a little depth, as we said on the debut of the Mets report and now here on the second show. But if there's one thing that you could never have too much of, and I've said it all the time, and the guru has said it to me, you can't have enough pitching. You just can't have enough pitching. So those are the different things that I noticed since the debut show. Again, we're not going to be here every day. We'll definitely be here on days off for the Mets. We'll be here on big news and to report and random episodes. That's why you have to hit the bell here for every Mets report that comes on, because you know the Chaos Corner also does the Chaos Corner show with pro wrestling. But this is the Mets report, and I want you guys to stay because we're going to be here a lot. What we need, I'm thinking, just watching these last couple of games, getting into the season, doing more research, stepping up on my team. We're going to need some sort of hybrid guy. That could be Blevins, some sort of middle inning transition guy. We're going to need some of those guys. And if I look at Familia also, since you want to throw him in the mix, we're talking about the bullpen and guys that may go longer. Maybe that's a role for him, but he's also thrown a lot of walks this season, and I haven't trusted him in years. Betances, I talked about it a couple of days ago. Getting reports back, and by what I'm reading, I read all the guys that are down there following the Mets, and I make sure I make a couple of calls, and I do have a few boots on the ground for whatever that's worth. I mean, they got to get their head out of their ass down there. Guys, are you going to help me down there? You said you were. Do something. Get me the reports, boots on the ground. At least show up at this stadium. I offered to pay for the tickets, but that's neither here nor there. Betances has slow progress. I'm worried about that. I was talking about if he can keep his head together. Let's see what happens. Already they're saying, from what I've seen, Carrasco, they're looking at, and I don't know how you can come out with 1 day, 2 days. I guess it's the medical team. They're already looking at maybe a May return. That's what I'm hearing. Again, the boots on the ground, if you could help me out down there, I would really appreciate it. I'm not quite sure what you guys are doing down there. I get it. The spring breaks. Is it still spring break? Isn't it almost over? Let me move on here to the Mets report. Fans, thanks for being here on a Saturday. Day off for the Mets. It's a beautiful weekend. The weather is trending forward. I think, did I say a Friday? It's not Friday. It's Saturday. Saturday morning. I think I did Saturday. John Heyman did report this. I got to give Heyman the credit. I always give people credit that help me out. The new COVID testing and statisticians and analytics and stats that are coming out of this. This is what I'm hearing out of MLB. You can quote John Heyman. This is research. I'm not putting out anything that hasn't been said that you couldn't find out for yourself if you went out there and did the homework. There's been only one new COVID positive test among 14,845 tests. Let me say it again. One test in Major League Baseball in the last week has come up positive. That's 0.0007%. Out of almost 15,000 tests, one. So let's stay positive and hopeful moving forward that we get a full season. And for all you rotisserie geeks out there and fantasy addicts and everybody else that does that, that you don't have to shuffle their lineups here. And we'll see what happens. But that's good news. Vaccinated, not vaccinated. We know a lot of things are coming down with what they're doing with people that are going to be allowed into the stadium and breaking them up into pods and social distancing and only selling a certain amount of tickets, 20% capacity. We'll cover that a little bit more here on the Mets Report. We did that in the debut episode. And again, I thank you all for being here. Give me your thoughts. Give me your feedback. Email me. chaosbigdaddy2 at yahoo.com, or inbox me on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube. Leave a message. You get your question or your answer live on the air, and that's CHAOS, chaosbigdaddy2 at yahoo.com. A few more updates. We were just talking about the numbers. Again, this came out of Citi Field. This is coming from the stadium itself. 20% capacity, which means the home opener at Citi Field is going to have 8,492. Hear me again. Not 8,491. 8,492 is the 20% capacity at Citi Field. Now, that's for April 1st. Now, the home opener isn't until April 8th. Let's see if there's anything else that's going to change over these. I think the Mets have 7 or 8 games left in spring training. We'll get to that. Let's see if anything changes with the rules, the CDC and the guidelines, or even the state or arena stadium guidelines. But that's what we have now. The home opener is Thursday, April 8th against Miami. Then their first off day is the 9th. And then 2 more against Miami before the Philadelphia Phillies come in. So that's the Mets home opener. You're looking at the 8th day off on that Friday, and then 2 more against the Fish, and then the Phillies come to town. I didn't want to get too ahead of myself, but I want to put it out there. If you plan on going down to Citi Field, I'm not too far away from there, but if you're planning on going to City Field, do it the right way. If you're going to take the chance, do it the safe way. Otherwise, you're going to get flack from people. You end up in an altercation. You don't want that. Just do it the rules, or hey, fuck it, don't go. Don't do it. If you're not going to follow the rules, stay home in the comfort of your own home, like I will be reporting from the games, and use your head. Get along with people. Show respect, and you'll get respect back. It's just that simple. Especially if we're all Mets fans. Look, the 2015 pennant, it's been a long time. I'm still living in 1986. Here's a quick update on Dominic Smith. We know that he had a little, I didn't report this on the debut episode. I believe he went deep on that episode. Dom Smith update, he's got a little general wrist soreness. Now, I don't know if it's because he ran into the wall, if it's because he's swinging the fungo or a batting practice, or maybe when he cracked that home run. But we cannot, you see, I've always talked about injuries and health and updates. And if you don't stay healthy, no matter what kind of team you have, you're going to have a lot of trouble. Health is paramount, especially to the pitching staff. Already, you'd rather have it done now, nicks and bruises and whatever's going to happen moving into the season. He'll be okay. A little general wrist soreness, but something to keep an eye on with Dom Smith. We already talked about how DeGrom has hit 102. I believe he's had 15 straight shutout innings, 11 strikeouts in that stretch. I get it. It's spring training. Do I have to keep saying that? Maybe I do. We noted that Alonso is on fire. We were talking about Edwin Diaz in the bullpen in the first episode, and I want to bounce around to this too. Let's hope Diaz gets back to form to where he was before we got him in the trade. Because right now, he's gotten 15 out of 16 innings he's been unscored upon. So let's hope that streak moves forward. Listen, with the exception of Carrasco, just with that big injury right now, and we know what's going on with Syndergaard. We'll keep an eye on Dom Smith and a couple of other minor things that we're looking at, because you never know what could happen day to day down there in Port St. Lucie. We're going into the season relatively healthy and on a positive note. So let's keep that trending. What else do I have here to report? Like I said, yesterday's game 8-5 against St. Louis. Oswalt. I don't know if Oswalt's going to make the team. I don't have any confidence in him right now. That's just what I'm hearing. We went through some of the different stats and numbers here. Things that we need. I'd like to cover a little bit of trivia before we get out of here too. Another thing that came out of yesterday's game, and we were talking about McCann. That was a big pickup behind the plate this year. Let's hope he can handle the staff. That's going to be a big part, although DeGrom is the leader. Syndergaard will be coming back. A lot of pressure on McCann behind the plate to control the staff and call a good game, which is going to go back to Rojas on the bench. Thomas Nieto making a statement for the backup role as catcher. And man, did he put one out into the outfield out there in St. Lucie. I think it almost went into a highway. So Thomas Nieto, I'll give him listen, we're less than a couple weeks away as our backup catcher. It looked pretty good yesterday. He's trying to make the roster. So let's see. Nieto's serviceable. I don't know who else we have. A couple of different guys in the minors. Different things that I've noticed. We have 5 off days in April that popped into my head. Keep that in mind, fans, to open up the season. 5 off days in April, if I'm not mistaken. I'm also hearing, too, and it's nice to see a veteran hanging around the clubhouse, getting a shot, and it's nice to see Chili Davis. Rumor has it, and reports getting back to Chaos Corner, is that Chili Davis is helping out with Alonso and helping out with Dom Smith, and you see how Dom Smith has really grown as a hitter, especially a contact hitter, and we know what Alonso has done since he's been in the league. 2019 was off the rip, over 50 home runs, 100 ribbies, unbelievable. Last year, I want to throw it out the window. He's starting off hot this year. I say, as a veteran in the world of pro wrestling, it's a veteran in the world of baseball. Chili Davis is really having an effect in the batting cage with these guys, and I like to see that. Keep an eye on Chili Davis and what we're going to do offensively. Another guy since that I've had come out of camp since this Carrasco injury that happened, keep an eye on the former Kansas City Royal. I believe the Royals, Mike Montgomery is in camp. right-handed pitcher. Let's see what he does. Everyone's looking to Lucchesi and Yamamoto, and definitely, hopefully, Peterson. And people now are bringing in the non-roster invitee Eichhoff, who's been serviceable. And now we're talking about Mike Montgomery. Let's see what happens. We have some depth. So let's not jump off. We're 20 minutes in here. The Mets report at Chaos Corner. It's me. It's the GOC. That's what we have. I want to also give you some random news and notes that came across my timeline before we got down here into the bunker. How about, and I like this guy. I mentioned him on a debut episode because he can play everywhere. He's like a fantasy player, a 5-tool player. Luis Guillorme. How about that last week? I didn't start the Mets report yet then, but the 22-pitch walk that he got last week, that's what I want to see this year coming out of this team. You don't have to jump on the first pitch unless it's over the plate. I get it. First pitch fastball, a lot of people like to lay off that. You want to get the first pitch and its first strike in the count. I don't always believe in that, but this year with guys like Guillorme, let's see it happen. Let's make the opposing pitcher work. There's currently 44 players left in camp. That's the report I got from the minor leagues. Here's who's out. Here's who's been reassigned. 44 guys left in camp down there at Port St. Lucie. Right-handed pitcher Yenzi Diaz has been reassigned, or not reassigned, has been demoted to AAA. Backup catcher Patrick Mazeika, also down to AAA. Left-handed pitcher Daniel Zamora. Now, I'm a little disappointed to hear about this, but he's going down to AAA, and why I say that is because he pitched well in the game yesterday. He looked very well. He went in there, and he's a left-hander, which we're in desperate need of. I said it on a debut episode, so I'm a little disappointed, but that means maybe he just needs a little bit of work, and he'll come back up, but he looked good yesterday. So we'll keep an eye on Daniel Zamora, went down to AAA. Here's the guys that have been reassigned. The outfielder Vargas, reassigned. The infielder Tovar, I spoke about him on the debut episode. Serviceable, different spots, but he's being reassigned. Another guy, and no, we already talked about this on the debut episode. We like to keep a little wrestling in baseball, basketball, baseball, wrestling. Jake Hager, the infielder for the Mets, has been reassigned. So now that shtick, that line, that gimmick, that phrase of tying in my two loves, pro wrestling and professional baseball, is gone because Jake Hager's still in AEW in the inner circle and has been reassigned on the New York Mets. I didn't even know he played the infield for the Mets. Who knew that? MMA, professional wrestling. You see what I did there. But that's what you get on the Mets report. This is what you get from Chaos Corner that you will not get in any other baseball broadcast right now or baseball streamer. Plus, I love the Mets. What else do we have going on here? Those are the players that have been. David Rodriguez has also been reassigned. Big news coming out of the front office as well. This guy looks like 3 pounds of sausage in a 1-pound bag, and that's former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. That's right, Chris Christie is now on the board of directors for the New York Metropolitans. Couldn't we have gotten Kevin James or maybe Jerry Seinfeld or even David Cohen? I know he's broadcasting for the Yankees. We couldn't have got. I would have taken Newman at this point. You got to give us Chris Christie on the board of directors. Hey, listen, I get it. A 50-year Mets fan, whatever he is. Really? But he looks like, and he ate the Oompa Loompas on the Willy Wonka movie. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. No disrespect. I'm just saying. Chris Christie, board of directors for the Mets. Also, Jeannie Molino is now on the board of directors for the Mets. This is coming out of the front office. The communication department. Well, what do you want me to tell you? I got to be in touch with someone. She is going to be serving as the senior VP for the Mets Foundation. So that's a beautiful thing. So Jeannie Molino, the Mets Foundation, the senior VP, I think that's a great cause, a great organization. They do great things. So welcome aboard, and welcome aboard, Chris Christie. Are you and I and Keith maybe going to meet down at the Shake Shack for a burger and a shake? Maybe you could buy Governor Christie or former Governor Christie. Well, how about that? What do you think about that? That's neither here nor there. Upcoming schedule. As I said, we are here live to tape same-day coverage on a beautiful Saturday. Tomorrow, Sunday, we have the Nationals. Here's our remaining spring training schedule down there in Port St. Lucie. We only have 3 games left in Port St. Lucie before the boys come north to the land of the metropolis. So tomorrow, the Nationals. Monday, the Astros. Tuesday, the Marlins. Wednesday, back in St. Lucie against the Cardinals. They're off on this Thursday, the 25th, so we'll definitely be here for the Mets report on that day. And then the last 2 games in Port St. Lucie next Friday and Saturday against the Nationals and the Astros before the boys pack up. They finish off Sunday with the Marlins, Monday with the Cardinals, and then, of course, the 30th and the 31st, that Tuesday and Wednesday, they are off, heading up 95 to Citi Field in the Queens. So that's what's going on with the remaining schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games left, 3 off days. 3 games left in Port St. Lucie for spring training at home before we get on to the opening day in the 2021 season. April 1st, the Mets open up against the Nationals for 2 games, and then they go to Philly for 3 games. They have that Thursday off. Wait. Let me check the notes. Let me double check. Okay, well, April 1st is the opener in Washington. 2 games with the Nationals. They open up on the 1st, which is a Thursday. Then they're off the 2nd on that Friday. And then, of course, they play on the 3rd in Washington before they scamper on down 95 to the former city of brotherly love. And that would be the Philadelphia Phillies for 3 games. So that's how we start off the season as we getting close to wrapping up spring training. We'll have many more reports, different things coming out of the Mets report here on Chaos Corner. Again, follow me on all social media platforms, whether it be Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Gab, and I believe Parler will be back. But if you really want to find out what's going on, Big Daddy Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy GOC on Instagram, of course on Twitter, and my boys over at the show, and that's at Mario_Chaos. I had already said that. And definitely you can get me here on the YouTube channel. Go out and hit up one of my sponsors, and that would be Mr. Hempel Stillskin, and that would be Sweet Heel CBD at sweetheal.com for all your CBD wellness, all your CBD needs, from lotions to massage oils to tinctures to edibles to gummies to everything that you can think of. Locally owned, the first legally licensed, medically licensed here in the Constitution State, the Nutmeg State, if you will. If it didn't work, I wouldn't use it. I don't go a day without using Sweet Heel and Sweet Heel CBD. With that being said, getting the plugs out there, what else do I have here on the Mets report? From Chaos Corner, 20 feet below the surface of the earth. I can't thank you, fans, for being here. I think that's the news and notes that I have. We're under 30 minutes here, which is what I would like to keep it to. And I did say that I would cover a lot of the different trivia on this show. This is going to be a certain segment on Mets Corner. You're not just going to get the updates and the scores and the analytics and statistics and rumors, notes, and all that different stuff, and game day live, game day reports. A little trivia. And I'll leave you off with a couple of things to think about before we come back here to the Mets report on Chaos Corner with your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy. I'll say that to say this. Leave comments in the section. Let me give you a little trivia before we get out of here. Who was the manager of the 1969 Miracle Mets? Number 2, who holds the Mets single-season stolen base record with 78? I'll even give you that, 78. Number 3, how many games did Doc Dwight Gooden win in his 1985 Cy Young season? Take the ultimate trip through Amazin's history as Mets Triviology informs, entertains, and challenges Mets fans the world over about everything from Tom Seaver, God rest his soul, to Darryl Strawberry, to David Wright, and Mr. Met. You're not going to want to miss it with the Guardian of Chaos here on the Mets Report. It's a new venture. I'm very excited about it. 45-year loyalist. You'll get passion. You'll get everything New York Mets, and we'll have a lot of fun with it. We'll have some trivia. Who knows what could happen? But I want you to stay tuned, stay live. You got to believe in the New York Mets 2021 season. I'll say that to say this. Let's go Mets. Don't you dare miss it.